Liora Starbay inhaled her first breath on 29 January 1999 inside a wooden bungalow set on stilted oyster palings above the opal flats of Laguna Madre, Texas. A lone redfish tail flipped sunrise droplets against the dock, while her mother, a wandering Zydeco accordionist who tucks pressed hibiscus petals between spare reeds, coaxed a velvet two-chord cradle groove that made mismatched mason jars clink along the sill. Her father, a retired shrimp boat navigator who sketches cloud dolphins on fill receipts, bent so close their freckles almost touched and promised his brand new daughter that marina gossip, hallway whispers, and every rat that quits at 14 would always step aside for a spirit daring enough to grow into her whole outline. Curves already curled through the Starbay bloodline, the way warm Gulf currents swirl into cool bay eddies. So nobody panicked when baby Liora burst a second cotton wrap before the kettle even hissed. Granny Esperanza threaded a shrimp net needle through the frantic seams, patched them with bright scraps sliced from a carnival banner, and chuckled that an extra handspan of fabric cost pennies while teaching a child to shrink could cost her acres of horizon. First grade hallways smelled of cedar pencil shavings, Pandosha sugar floating from the cafeteria hatch, and salty breeze sneaking beneath tilted louvers. Liora towered half a head above her classmates, and every time she diagrammed whooping crane flyways on the pull-down atlas, she blocked the projector beam. One breezy recess, two boys hop-skipped rings around her, chanting tug barge, each smack her rubber boots made on the chalk grid. That evening, she patrolled the tide line, gathered soda caps burnished coconut white by surf, threaded them on fishing filament, stitched the rattling strand down her turquoise hoodie, and strolled into class at dawn, scattering tiny prisms across ceiling tiles. A visiting reading aide captured a shaky 8-second clip on her prepaid phone, posted it to a newborn video nook, and by lunch, 15,000 strangers applauded the girl who forged teasing into lighthouse flair. Liora slipped a purple vowel beside subtraction drills, clouds crowd only until you flash them bright enough to scatter. Weekend dawns belonged to the bait dock, where her mother's accordion riffs rolled with diesel coughs from shrimp boats, skillet snapped from gordita stands, and gulls squabbling from mantis shrimp. Store jeans locked at thigh level, so Liora bartered tip-jar nickels for sun-bleached gill net, unraveled it into rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, airbrushed roseate spoonbill silhouettes with squid ink, and posed at papaya sunset against rust-freckled pylons while her cousins snapped grainy frames, each photo sealed into an online diary she named Lantern Ripple during the same week. A picture app flickered across patchy coastal towers, captions drifted from Laguna slang to plain truths like curves anchor gusts steadier than breakwaters. Before 16 candles flickered, 54,000 unseen hearts double-tapped every mango snapshot, proof glowing rectangles hushed cafeteria snickers quicker than any whistle. A renewable energy scholarship pulled her inland to the University of Houston, where daylight dissolved inside wave tank labs and nights belonged to a 24-hour empanada cart glowing neon peach beneath live oak branches. The heat lamp doubled as softbox. Between brisket orders, she filmed 90-second reels, folding parchment into Marshall barrettes while decoding dart rotation and half research buzz, half shoreline hush. One clip overlaid bottlenose clicks on a lo-fi shuffle as she chained stitched reflective anchor braid into thrift denim. And 46 hours later, views cruised past 1.3 million. Bayou-style blogs crowned her the empanada couture, though every sponsor email stalled at size 16. Liora saved each pitch in a folder marked shrinking nets, lick-chip choile glaze from her wrist, and pressed more dough. Hurricane Week delivered a note from Columbia Sportswear inviting her to co-design a shell capsule titled Seabreeze Pulse. She answered with 3 war-firm demands, patterns spanning 60-inch hips, half the creative crew hired straight from community college fashion programs, and 10% of net profit pledged to mangrove restoration from Port Isabel to Point Ocean. Columbia signed before dawn gilded beaker rack. The shoot dawned on a shell bar where diamondback terrapin hatchlings sketched question marks in wet sand. Liora steered paddle borders of every curve across glass water while a drone drew gentle infinite loops overhead. When the lookbook launched, all extended sizes vanished. In 41 hours across 29 countries, and Lantern Ripple burst beyond 700,000 glowing avatars. Quick splash number 1 glints here. If this rising tide already tugs your ribs, tap subscribe right now. 1 fingertip secures your real berth, so next week's journey drifts into your notifications long before algorithm winds can change. Rumor pelicans arrived anyway. A viral vlog claims she strapped metal plates around her waist under Seabreeze pole shells. At first pink light, she paddled a cedar board beyond Spartina's skirts, planted bare feet in sports bra and cotton shorts, traced every stretch stripe with crushed bougainvillea petals, and jammed a blues lick on her mother's squeeze box so raw pelicans hovered midair. 10 million viewers reposted the jam, tagged only bougainvillea proof, brushing magenta dust along their own curves until the tail sank quiet as slack tide. Car wedges, breaded with capsule royalties and churned into Starbay butter, a whipped custard swirling citrus blossom cream, lime seed oil, and mica sparks that glow seashell white under phone flash. 19,000 tins cooled on her father's chart desk, lids tied with braided trot line, each tag stamped "Moisturize Your Horizon." Inventory drained in 82 minutes, raising $197,000, 20% funded Beacon grants that ship industrial surgers and hide ropes to plus-size teens in coast town schools from Matagorda to Matanzas. 8 months later, 36 awardees streamed a floating fashion and dolphin call gala aboard a retro shrimp scow decked in solar neon mangroves, sending dawn happiness to classrooms from Kingston to Kisumu. South by Southwest Fashion Night birthed fresh dockside lore when a backstage blower ripped her orchid mesh gown from hip to heel, 80 heartbeats before curtain. Liora yanked neon mooring rope from a lighting truss, laced the split like boot hooks, and walked as if that splice had lived in each sketch. Camera shutters cracked like kettle corn. Vogue Golf called the rescue rope cadence, and another million lantern sparks flared before brass horns struck the after-party's first chord. Disgruntled whispers tried again when a former aide leaked crop mills implying she required stone crab towers and chauffeured skiffs for her rescue pelican orbit. She posted the entire thread showing refillable water coolers, lentil stew for crew, and caption tablets for deaf stylists, then wired her next affiliate wave, $135,000, into biodegradable crab trap pilots off Grand Isle. Fans repeated her peer chant, receipts shine brighter than rumor grit, until silence washed in like tide. Mid-summer analytics shimmered teal. 6.9 million Instagram mates, 3.4 million real voyeurs, 2 million steady subscribers, engagement hovering 9% in rewriting brand forecasts. Cartier invited her to headline Topaz Surge inside the Century Lens at San Luis Pass Light, signing only after Cartier funded therapy stipends for reef divers shaken by back-to-back storms. The finished reel, her wrist scattering amber shards across iron ribs, now stands as Cartier's most saved post of the quarter. Simply Senator Keel. Twice a month, she streams Porchline Groove. Mom slips funk, runs beneath a propane skillet. Dad recites cloud haiku. Liora flips thrift denim under fairy bulbs while Orbit waddles loops around a bait bucket. One episode climbed past 9 million hits when the bird sneezed sugar glitter on the camera. A seabird refuge now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated pelicans with solar beacons paid by Starbay butter sales. Butter revenue sailed beyond 12 million before a second fiscal equinox. Liora leased a silent bait shed, carved skylights through corrugated tin, and hired furlough deckhands, plus design graduates to whip custard and knot lids by hand during midday groove breaks to brass house loops. Optimization teams begged for shrink seals. She echoed her mother's law of fingertips archive legend longer than plastic ever can, and rope ties stayed. Mental forecast candor beats through her feed. Coquina Bluff portraits, nest beside empanada selfies, caption, same sky, different tide. She distributes breath loops, recorded inside aquifer caves, printable resilience sheets in English and Kowawil Tekken, and sliding scale therapy vouchers. 131,000 readers cite her shoreline honesty as the first calm harbor they reached in years. Community rides glow under crushed shell spray. Hundreds coast, dust causeways, wearing Starbay butter on collarbones, and LED mangrove tassels on spokes. Ticket coins broaden beacon grants and raise wheelchair snorkel lifts at Crystal Spring Coves. Chowder shacks pour late. Crab chow bowls jump 15% on ride nights. Liora rolls lead on a vintage cruiser with Orbit Plus strap front, stopping to knot any riders dragging lace. She is editing a memoir titled Currents Keep Names for 11 Language Shelves next spring, while a documentary crew tracks her blueprint to convert retired light buoys into floating maker hubs for island schools. Puma's wide-toe wave lantern sneaker hits next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned in algae foam, steering 10% of proceeds into beacon seedlings circling the Gulf Rim. Gentle nudge number 2 glides under the pier. If your subscribe badge still burns cherry, turn it moonlit gray right now. One soft tap means next week's tide finds you before algorithm undertow sweeps it afar. / toward Hush. In the description lie fresh Starbay butter jars, express beacon grant portals, tonight's Porchline Groove playlist, and one discreet compass, a research-rooted kit of conversation sparks and calm confidence drills, mapping the surest channel toward lasting love and the most reliable strategy for helping any woman you meet feel magnetic intrigue, no lock, no paywall, one click away. If the soda cap spine shimmer, rope cadence gown rescue, or orbit glitter sneeze lifted, a green tap like drop your loudest ripple in comments and send this voyage to a friend whose sails hang still. Every curve reroutes currents, every scar refracts moonlight, and the lagoon bows to any soul planting 2 brave boots on the pier and greeting tomorrow eyes bright. Soft surf whisper rolls in as call 3. Subscribe this heartbeat, claim your rail, tap the love link tucked just below, and meet me on the next rising tide. When a brand new story glimmers beyond the breakers, and courage sings your name once more.